Namaskar. I am Dr. Aarti Chaudhary, Assistant Professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology at Vasant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you all once again in the journey of Vedic Science and Technology. In this 12-week course titled History of Science and Technology in Ancient India from Harappan Civilization to 7th Century CE, now we are in Module 5, Lecture 3. The title of Module 5 is Sciences in the Vedic Literature Part 1, and today's lecture title is Lecture 3 on Vedic Mathematics. We already discussed in our last class about the Vedic astronomy. On the basis of astronomical explanation which is given in Rig Veda and Yajurveda, Atharva Veda, including Samveda, it mentioned that Vedic people knew the pattern of calculation, the numbers, the methodology of mathematics, and how to express their mathematical knowledge on the basis of numbers. So, first we see the learning objective of this lecture, and they are to know the number system mentioned in the Vedic literature, to understand the fundamental observations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. found from the Vedic text, and to analyze the progressive series mentioned in the Vedic literature. So let's begin. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about these subpoints, which is numbers, arithmetic, fundamental operation, fractions, progressive series, geometry, and algebra. Mathematics in Vedic literature reflects the early intellectual rigor of ancient Indian scholars who integrated mathematical principles into both practical applications and philosophical inquiries. The Veda, specifically the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda, contain foundational reference to numerical system, arithmetic operation, proportions, and early geometric reasoning. These mathematical elements were often applied in the context of ritual, cosmology, architecture, and astronomy, indicating a comprehensive understanding of measurement, symmetry, and spatial organization. Among the earliest structured mathematical texts, the Sulba Sutra. Here I would like to mention the next lecture is focused on the Sulba Sutra. Here I mention only a brief introduction about the Sulba Sutra. We will discuss it elaboratively in our next lecture. So, among the earliest structured mathematical text, the Sulba Sutra provides geometrical guidelines for altar construction, illustrating the use of precise measurements and basic theorems, including early formulations akin to the Pythagorean theorem. Overall, Vedic mathematics is found in the literature represent a unique blend of empirical knowledge and metaphysical insight, forming the groundwork for later developments in Indian mathematical sciences and influencing traditions well beyond the Indian subcontinent. The arithmetic. I started with the arithmetic. What kind of information is preserved regarding arithmetic in the Vedic literature? Arithmetic, one of the oldest branches of mathematics, holds a special place in the Vedic Hindu tradition, where it was approached with clarity, efficiency, and deep insight. Rooted in ancient Indian scriptures known as the Vedic arithmetic uses a system of concise formulas called sutra to perform calculations quickly and mentally. These techniques simplify basic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division by revealing patterns and relationship between numbers. The Vedic arithmetic emphasizes intuitive methods that not only enhance speed and accuracy but also strengthen one's understanding of numbers in a deeply logical and elegant way. Now, the name of the numbers which is mentioned in the Vedic text. According to Maitrayani and Kathak Samhita, as as well as according to Yajurveda and Taittiriya Samhita, the numbers denominations are like एक, 1, 10, 10, 10, 7, 10 to the power 2, Sahasra, 10 to the power 3, Ayut, 10 to the power 4, Niyut, 10 to the power 5, Prayut, 10 to the power 6, Arbud, 10 to the power 7, Nirbud, 10 to the power 8, Samudra, 10 to the power 9, Madhya, 10 to the power 10, Ant, 10 to the power 11, and Prararth, 10 to the power 12. This number system is also mentioned in Maitrayani and Kathak Samhita. As we see, the Vedic people expressed different big numbers as it is mentioned with this title. So we can say the Vedic people well introduced about the different approaches of how to present the numbers. The Vedic numbers are based on a decimal system, and the Vedic people can express big numbers based on the formulas as well, as we seen on the slide. In the later period, in the Lalit Vistar circa 100 BCE, a conversation between the mathematician Arjun and the Bodhisattva includes calculation based on the Shatagunottar system, 100-fold progression, and the numbers that appear in this system are Sahasra, 10 to the power 2, Lakh, 10 to the power 4, Koti, 10 to the power 7, Ayut, 10 to the power 9, Niryut, 10 to the power 11, Kankar, 10 to the power 13, Vivar, 10 to the power 15, Shaumya, 10 to the power 17, Vivah, 10 to the power 19, Utsang, 10 to the power 21, Bahul, 10 to the power 23, Nagbal, 10 to the power 25, Titilamb, 10 to the power 27, Vyavasthana, Prajanapit, 10 to the power 29, Hetuhil, 10 to the power 31, Katahu, 10 to the power 33, Hetuvindriya, 10 to the power 35, Samapatalabh, 10 to the power 37, Gananagati, 10 to the power 39, Niravadya, 10 to the power 41, Mudrabal, 10 to the power 43, Sarvabal, 10 to the power 45, Vishana Janagati, 10 to the power 47, Saravjan, 10 to the power 49, Vibhutangma, 10 to the power 51, and Talakshana, 10 to the power 53. In the Kachayan Pali grammar also describe the Koti Gunottar 10 million fold progression system which goes up to 10 to the power 140, which is Koti to the power, whole power is 20, and then 10 to the power 140, which explain the expression of big numbers which introduced by the Vedic people in their Vedic literature. As we already studied in Vedic astronomy, the Vedic people calculated the speed, the motion of the different planets on the basis of their own observation. Definitely, they well knew to the number system, the decimal system, the multiplication, subtraction, and on the basis of these methodology, they express the whole astronomical observation on this scientific platform. Now, the numbers which we found from the Vedic text is categorized in three groups. The basic digit, which is 1 to 9, and it expressed with the word ek, dui, tri, chatur, panch, sat, sapta, asht, nav, and tens, 10 to the power 90. These are formed by multiplying the basic digit by 10, like das, vimsati, trimsat, chaturvimsat, panchsat, sati, saptati, asiti, navati. It is described under the terms of tens, which includes 10 to 90. And the larger number, which expressed in titles, like it begins from 100, this increase in power of 10, like Sat, Sahastra, Ayut, and it goes in different pattern like Prararth. Now, the principle of number naming, on what basis they name the numbers, that is mentioned on this slide. Multiplicative principle, formed with the numbers of the second and third group. Remember the earlier side where the group of the numbers mentioned. The example is Satim Sahasrani, 6,000, Panchasat Sahasram, 50,000, Dva Saptihi Sahasrani, 72,000. The numbers expressed with these terminology on the basis of their category of group of the number. Next is additive and multiplicative combined, used when numbers of the third group participate along with those of the second or the first. Example is Sapt Satani Vimshati, 720. Satim Sahastra Navatim Nava, 60,099. In the same pattern, additive principle, which is used when the numbers of the first and second groups participate. Example, Ekadasa, 11, Saptavimsati, 27, Ashtatrimsat, 38. In the subtractive principle, use of subtraction with words like ekanna, meaning one less, used to form numbers. Example, ekanna sat, 100 minus 1, ekanna vimsati, 20 minus 1, ekanna chaturvimsat, 39, which is mentioned in Taittiriya Samhita. So these are the principle to express the numbers on the basis of Vedic literature. Now, draw your attention towards the fundamental operations. What kind of information given in the text? The Vedic scripture do not explicitly describe the basic arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This likely reflects the fact that these calculations were so commonly understood that there was no need to explain them formally, but a few examples are quite notable, which gives us insight into their knowledge regarding fundamental operations. Let's see with example what are the fundamental operations described in the Vedic literature. First addition in Rigved, Nava ka Navatim ka. Addition of 9 and 90 indicates the number Nava Navati. For example, 9, 90. In modern mathematics, addition can be presented as 9 plus 90 is equal to 99. Here, ka possibly means and as a sign of word. These all observation, these all approaches, these all methodology is based on the present calculation. The subtraction Rigved has a mention of Chatvari Vak Paramita Padani Guha Trini Nihita Nen Gagayanti Turyam Vako Manushya Vadanti, in which the remainder 1 is accounted for when 3 is subtracted from 4. So, these are the methods used by the Vedic people on the basis of their own observation and own methodology. Next is multiplication. In Atharva Veda, the multiples of 11 have been indicated. The term used for multiplication is gunan. In Rig Veda refers to the multiplication of 3 into 60 is equal to 180. As like addition, subtraction and multiplication, the methods of division also mentioned in Vedic literature. In the Rig Veda, the act of dividing 1,000 isn't directly described, but a similar idea appears in the Taittiriya Samhita. The Satapatha Brahman offers a fuller explanation of this mathematical act involving Indra and Vishnu. When Indra and Vishnu divide 1,000 cow into 3 portions, one was left over. They then cause this one to reproduce in 3 forms. Thus, even now, if someone divides 1,000 by 3, a remainder of 1 remains. So, these are the different principles which indicates the mathematical knowledge of Vedic people. Now, the explanation on the fractions. What the Vedic people described on fractions. Simple fractions name mentioned in Rigved like Ardh 1 by 2, Tripad 3 by 4. In Maitrayani Samhita, it is Pad or Pud, it is 1 by 4, Sapah, it is 1 by 8, Kusha 1 by 12, Kala 1 by 16. From the Sulva Sutra onwards, Ansh, Bhag used to denote fractions in general. Mixed fraction formats like Ardh Stama 7 number 1 by 2, Ardha Navama, mixed fraction formats like Ardha Satam 7 number 1 by 2, Ardha Navam 8 number 1 by 2 and Ardha Dasam 9 number 1 by 2. It is also called Saat Purnank 1 बटे 2, 8 पूर्णांक 1 बटे 2 और 9 पूर्णांक 1 बटे 2. Fractions via multipliers. Fractions via multipliers, that is also the part of Vedic mathematics. Fractions expressed using multiplicative terms. Dviguna 1 by 2, Triguna 1 by 3, Chaturguna 1 by 4. Now the progressive series which described in Vedic literature. Taittiriya Samhita indicates an arithmetical series indicating the old ayugma and the even yugma numbers, just like 1, 3, 5 and proceeding 19. It is ayugma, odd number. 2, 4, 6 up to 20 or more ahead, it is yugma. There are several examples which is mentioned here on the slide, and it is also mentioned in the Vedic literature. There are lots of several there are several examples related to the Yugma and Ayugma numbers. In the Panchavisha Brahman, specific instructions are provided for giving dakshinas, ritual gift, particularly measured in unit of gold called manas. The amount are not arbitrary but follow a geometric progression based on the timing and type of ritual performed. Like 12 gold manas 24, 48, 96, 192, 3072, 6144, 49152, 98304, 196608, 393216. Here I mentioned these big numbers because the Vedic texts describe about these numbers, the multiplication, the subtraction of the big numbers, which indicates their knowledge regarding the numbers, their knowledge regarding the mathematical discipline, and their knowledge regarding the mathematical stages and the rules and law regarding the mathematical approaches. Now the few brief information regarding geometry. I already told that on the basis of the Sulva Sutra we will read geometry, the knowledge of geometry of Vedic people in elaboratively our next lecture. Here in brief it is necessary to understand as a part of mathematics what is the role of geometry in Vedic literature. Vedic geometrical manuals like the Sulva Sutra mention various rules which gives us an elaborate insight regarding their geometrical calculations. The purpose behind it used for constructing altars, Vedic, the yagya and the sacrificial fire pit with precise geometrical shapes and measurements required. The shape used in this performance is the square, rectangles, circle and trapezium. Composite figure, falcon shaped altars, different type of yagya altars has been reported from the text they use for their yagya tradition. The key concept of the Pythagorean theorem stated geometrically for altar construction, area equivalence method to convert one shape into another, square to circle, use of diagonals, ratio and proportion in layout designs, squaring the circle pi concept of symmetry, alignment and the spatial balance. This shows their understanding of the mathematics and the construction of mathematical numbers. Again, in the measurement, units like purush, angul and pad were used for dimensions. If we want to understand the algebra of the Vedic people, then the few points are mentioned here. Like in Sulva Sutra, the date approximately 800 to 500 BCE demonstrate early algebra through geometric construction and verbal reasoning. Quadratic equations were applied in Chiti fire altars construction, especially when transforming one shape into another, just like square to rectangle while maintaining area. This is basically related to the performing yagya. Example, solving for the side of a square equal in area to a rectangle. The formula is mentioned here. It reflects quadratic thinking. Use of square roots, approximation of root 2, enable accurate diagonal and area calculation in altar design. Recognition of rational and irrational numbers appears in Vedic texts, especially when dealing with ratio and diagonal computations. Now, on the basis of identification of number, methodology and principle of number, terminology which is related to the number, the arithmetic pattern, progressive series, yugma and ayugma numbers, the algebra, the construction of geometry. With the whole picture, we can say then Vedic mathematics reflects the intellectual depth and mathematical insight of ancient India. Although the Vedic texts do not formally define arithmetic operations, they demonstrate an implicit understanding of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, considered too fundamental to be explicitly explained. The systematic naming of large numbers extending up to 10 to the power 12 show a remarkable grasp of the decimal system long before it appeared elsewhere. Additionally, the use of fractional terms and creative expression of mixed numbers indicates not only numerical knowledge but also linguistic precision. The presence of mathematical concept in religious and philosophical contexts highlights how deeply mathematics was woven into the fabric of Vedic life. Overall, Vedic mathematics is a treatment to be advanced thinking of early Indian scholars, laying a strong foundation for future mathematical achievements, we can say. So, in this lecture, we covered the topic mathematics, the different aspects of mathematics, the methods of mathematics, and in our coming lecture, we will discuss deeply the Sulba Sutra and the geometry of the ancient Vedic culture. So, thank you for the patient listening. You can consult these reference for better understanding regarding the mathematics, and we will meet very soon in our next lecture. Thank you once again. Namaskar.